Good evening. It is Tuesday night, time for another family activity, bag activity. We are back with Katie from Glaze and Paint. She is going to do a fabulous spring bunny painting project with you. So without any further ado, Miss Katie, take it away.
Hi, everybody. As you may know, I'm Katie from Glaze and Paint. If you don't know where Glaze and Paint is, we are downtown, kind of over by the courthouse on Washington Street. You can visit us anytime. Right now, we are open for in-studio painting, but you can also take projects home, kind of like this too, where you can paint at home. But tonight, we will be making this bunny painting here. So, if you got a event bag from the library, it would have included one canvas, and in the bag there's also a bunny made out of contact paper. So if you don't know what contact paper is, it's just like a big sticker almost that we'll be peeling the back off so that it's the clear part is like the big sticker, and we'll talk a little bit more about that next. There should also be a brush, a sponge, a pom-pom for the tail, and then acrylic paint. So we should have 4 colors. We have pink, purple, teal, and brown of acrylic paint. Now, first things first, I always suggest wearing paint clothes because this paint, it will wash off your skin, but it may not wash out of clothes. So just in case, wear an apron or some paint clothes, and also put something down on your workspace just in case. It will wash off tables, but it's easier if you put like a tablecloth or if you put some newspapers down. So I also suggest you will need a little bit of glue for the end to glue the tail on. I'm going to use school glue, just Elmer's, but you can use different kinds of glue if that's what you have. If you don't have any glue, don't worry. You can always stop at the library, and I'm sure they'll borrow you some too. And you can use a hair dryer to speed up drying if you need to, but you don't have to either. You can always just let it naturally air dry too, but I'll be using a hair dryer. But if you don't want to, that's okay. You don't have to. So first things first, some people's canvases may have been wrapped in plastic. Some of them were, some of them weren't, so you might just have to take that plastic off. You don't want to do it with the plastic on. And then discard that so it doesn't get in the way or anything. Throw that away. So then we have our canvas. Now what we're going to do, and you may need some adult help here, is we're going to take that contact paper, and you want to take the backing off, so that's the white part, that's the garbage part, so that can go in the garbage. And this is like a big sticky sticker. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that and we're going to put it in the center of our canvas, and I'll hold this up in a second too. And it doesn't have to be exactly in the center if you don't want it to be, but we're going to put it up and down. It's a little hard to see because it's clear on the white canvas, but I put it in the middle and I just stuck it down really good and just make sure it's all stuck down. So then what we're going to do is we're going to do this background part first. So we're going to paint around that bunny part. And if it gets on there, that's okay too. But then when we peel that off, we'll have the outline to paint brown. So first, we're going to do this background color. So put the brown paint aside. First, we're going to use the teal, the purple, and the pink. And we're going to use the sponge. So everybody has one of these craft sponges. Now what we're going to do, and it's completely up to you. So what I did is that I kind of dipped my sponge in each of the 3 colors and just kind of did a tie-dye effect by just no random pattern. I just did a little bit of that color, and I dipped in my sponge in a different color, and I dipped into that color. And you just kind of want to go around the bunny. If it gets on that contact paper bunny, that's okay. And you can overlap colors. That's what kind of gets that tie-dye effect. And we're just covering the entire thing. You don't need a lot of paint on there because we don't want it dripping down, okay? And I'm just doing an up and down motion. So I'm not going back and forth at all. I'm going up and down like this, okay? And I don't need a lot of paint on there. And if you want to do something different instead of like a tie-dye look, you can always just go part of it in blue, part of it purple. You don't even have to use a certain color if you don't want to. That's okay. I'm just going up and down. And we're going to cover the entire top And the sides you can do too, okay? Just up and down, covering that whole canvas.
Are you making it hop around like a bunny, Miss Katie?
That is a good way of putting it. Making my sponge hop like our little bunny we're making here. This is going to get some nice texture. And if you get too much paint on your sponge, you can always wipe it off on the edge of your cup too. And it's okay if the paints get a little mixed. We're kind of mixing them on our canvas anyway, so that's okay. And just cover the entire thing. So notice I'm kind of just going around that bunny sticker that we put on. But if it gets on there, that's okay, because that's just kind of protecting the canvas from that anyway. So if paint gets on there, that's perfectly fine. And now everybody's will look a little different. You can always use, if you like more pink, you can always do more pink. Everybody's will be their own unique masterpieces. So it definitely won't look exactly like mine. And that's okay. That's what art is. You can always even go back over a spot, like, oh, if you put too much pink in one area, you can go over with a different color. And this paint does dry pretty quick. But again, you can always dry it too with our hair dryer if you feel the need to. But it will dry pretty fast. Okay, so I have my canvas covered. Now I'm not going to do my edges just so I can hold it up easier, but I do suggest that you go around the edges too, because then when you put it somewhere, it'll look nice and finished. But then you can set your sponge aside, and you can just wash that out with water, and then you can keep it, so you don't have to throw it away if you don't want to. You can always use it for a different project or something. But I'm just going to quickly dry mine then with a hair dryer, but again, you don't have to dry it with a hair dryer. You can definitely let this air dry if you want to. Now it's still a little wet, but I'm still going to go on to the next step here, because it doesn't have to be super dry to move on to this next step. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that bunny and peel it off. Now the nice thing about contact paper is that you can just get a roll of it. It's actually meant for just putting down like on cupboards or something like that. But you can get a roll of it and you can actually cut whatever shapes out you want. So if you want to do this on your own, you could always get some contact paper and cut out names, or you can cut out different shapes.
I'm going to zoom in a little bit, Miss Katie, as you peel that off.
Yep, so I'm just going to peel this off here.
Oh my gosh.
So I have our bunny. So it's okay, a little bit got underneath, and that's fine, because next we're going to take our brown paint and the brush, and what we're going to do is we're just going to fill this entire bunny in with the brown. See how I covered all of that in brown? Now the thing with acrylic paint is sometimes you need to do a couple layers to get really nice solid colors and to not see your brush strokes. So you can always paint this once and let it dry or dry it up with the hair dryer, and then paint it again if you want to. Or if you only want to do it once to make it look kind of hairy almost, that's okay too. So we're just going to fill all those white spots in for our bunny. You can go right up to the edge. So I'm just going to take your time and go right up to the edge of the sponged part there. We've had such nice weather the past couple of days. It's nice to get these springtime canvases here. So I'm just taking my time and going through each ear here. And this paint, again, dries really fast. So if you wanted to do a couple layers on this bunny, you can definitely do that pretty quickly. Okay, so I have my first layer on here. So you can see I covered the entire white space, but you can see my brush stroke. So I'm going to dry this quick here and do just one more layer. So then you can just go right on back over the top here. And when you're doing this filling in of the bunny part, you don't need to use a lot of paint. You just want to do nice light coats. That way you can do a couple different coats at a time. You don't want it dripping with paint or anything. Just smooth, even brush strokes. Usually I like to put them all in the same direction. So I'm going up and down with my bunny brush strokes here. That way, if you do see your brush strokes, they'll all be going the same way. But again, it's your painting, so if you want to do something a little different, that's okay, because that's what art is about. It's about being a unique masterpiece in the end. And it's fun to experiment with art sometimes. I'm just doing another layer, and if you want to go ahead and do more layers, feel free to do that. I'm just going to do the 2. But you can always do more if you still see brush strokes if you want to. Okay, so I have my second layer on here. So then I'm going to put my brush aside, and again, you can just wash that in regular water if you want to. You can always keep that for a different project. So then you're going to get your glue. Let your bunny dry completely before you glue this tail on. But once your bunny is dry, again, I use just regular Elmer's glue, but if you have a different kind of glue like hot glue at home, feel free to use that, just with an adult supervision though, okay? You just need a really little bit of glue, just a dab. And then you want to glue that right in the center of the bunny body. So right at the bottom here, okay? Now with Elmer's glue, it might take a second to dry, so you might want to hold it on there for a second or lay it flat until it dries completely. But then once the glue is dry and your paint is dry, you can display this somewhere in your house or give it as a gift.
Thank you, Miss Katie, for another fabulous project from Glaze and Paint. Make sure you tune in again in April. Miss Katie will be back. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, though. You're going to have to wait and see. This week, Thursday at 5 o'clock, you can sign up for cookie baking kits. We have a package of cookie mix. We have some cookie cutters and some sprinkles and a recipe for some frosting. So Thursday, starting at 5, you can sign up for our next activity bag. You can call the library or you can go online to our website, www.manitowoclibrary.org/FAB, Family Activity Bag, and sign up for that next activity bag. We will see you again in the future. Bye-bye.